For decades, we've all been told there's one golden ticket to a great career, a 4-year degree. But what if that's not the whole story? What if you could land a 6-figure salary without ever stepping foot on a traditional college campus?
I mean, it's the question on pretty much everyone's mind, right? Especially when you see how much tuition costs these days. Is that piece of paper really the only way up the ladder? Well, today we're going to explore a different route, a path that millions of people are actually already on, even if they don't realize it.
So let's start with a number, a big one, 70 million. That's how many workers in the US today are skilled, they're experienced, but they don't have a bachelor's degree. And this isn't some tiny fraction. We're talking about nearly half the labor force. And they have a name.
They're called STARS. It stands for Skilled Through Alternative Routes. And this term, which comes from a really important report by Opportunity at Work, it completely reframes how we think about talent. These are not unskilled workers. No way. These are people who have built incredibly valuable, in-demand skills through hands-on experience, their military service, certificate programs, you name it.
But here's the catch. The system we have right now creates this trap. And it's a trap that cuts both ways. It holds back the stars we're trying to climb, but it also puts a huge burden on students who take that traditional college path.
For STARS, the biggest frustration is this major disconnect. They've got the skills, right? They've proven it over years of work, but those skills don't always get them a promotion or a bigger paycheck. It's like there's this invisible wall. Some people call it the paper ceiling.
And this chart, it shows the problem perfectly. When a star changes jobs, it's a total gamble. Only 39% of the time does it actually lead to a pay raise. That means for the majority, we're talking over 60% of the time, a job change is either just a sideways move or even worse, a step backward financially. That's not a career ladder. That's more like a career treadmill.
Now, check out this chart because it really shows the difference. Every single dot is a job transition. See the red dots? Those are workers with bachelor's degrees. They can make these huge leaps into new roles, even roles with totally different skills. Their degree's like a passport. Now, look at the blue dots. Those are the stars. See how they're so much more constrained? They can usually only move to jobs that have really similar skills. It's just a much, much harder climb.
Okay, so let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this trap. For the people who do take that traditional 4-year route, their career journey often starts not at zero, but deep in the red. According to data from the National Center for Construction Education and Research, this is the average student loan debt for someone graduating from a 4-year public university. Almost $26,000. That is a massive financial hole to dig out of before you've even earned your first real paycheck.
So all this sets up a really fascinating comparison. How do these two paths actually stack up financially when you put them side by side, especially when you look at that first decade of a career? Let's just break it down. On one side, you've got the college path. You take on debt, and you're earning very little, if anything, while you're in school. On the other side, you have a path like a skilled craft apprenticeship. Here, there's usually zero educational debt. Employers often pay for the training. And this is the big one, you are earning a real wage from day one.
And here it is. This is the jaw dropper. Over 10 years, after you factor in those loan payments, the college grad has earned about $307,000. The construction craft professional who went through an apprenticeship, over $585,000. That is a staggering difference. We're talking nearly $280,000 more.
So the really crucial point here isn't just about one specific trade. It points to a much, much bigger solution. We need to identify and really champion these high-skill, high-pay pathways that don't require that 4-year degree.
And right now, there are two fields that are just absolutely booming with these kinds of opportunities. The skilled trades, like we just saw, and the world of technology.
I mean, just look at the tech industry. They're realizing more and more that what you can do matters way more than a diploma. An IT supervisor? Over $124,000. Software developer? $117,000. These are all 6-figure careers, and they're accessible through things like boot camps, certifications, or just by building a really strong portfolio of your work. But listen, just landing one good job isn't the end of the story. The real key, the secret to long-term success and actually moving up is understanding the pathway, how one role gets you ready for the next one and the one after that.
So how can STARS actually build this blueprint for mobility? Well, that research from Opportunity at Work gives us a really fascinating model for how to build a career strategically, one step at a time.
They call it the Gateway Pathway, and it works like this. You might start in what's called an origin job, say a cashier. There, you're building basic skills, right? Handling money, dealing with customers. Well, those skills then make you a great fit for a gateway job, like a customer service rep at a bank. It pays more, and this is the important part, it helps you build more advanced, transferable skills, like problem solving. And that experience, that opens the door to a high-paying destination job, like a sales manager. See? It's a strategic, skill-based climb.
Now, we have to be real here for a second. It's important to acknowledge that these pathways are not a level playing field yet. While about 35% of workers with a four-year degree manage to navigate to a high-wage job, only 9% of stars do. And for Black and Hispanic stars, that number drops to just 6%, which really highlights some systemic barriers that still need to be torn down.
As Byron Augusts, the CEO of Opportunity at Work, puts it, this is about more than just filling jobs. By making skills the real currency of the job market, we can actually build a more equitable system that can drive not just individual success, but also broader social equity. So that leaves us with this one last powerful question. What would our economy actually look like if we stopped focusing only on degrees and started navigating by the stars? What if we built our entire system, hiring, training, promotions, around the skills people actually have, not just the credentials they hold? It's a fundamental shift for sure, but as the data shows, it could unlock incredible potential for millions of workers and for our whole economy.